I agree with you. I think there needs to be an AI mastermind because this thing is moving so fast and has such dramatic consequences to people's businesses.
But you come from this model where you were into IT and service software well before anybody else was. So you get it.
No, I've had to rewire my whole brain.
Welcome to the Maverick Entrepreneur Podcast, where business success meets personal purpose. Here we empower entrepreneurs to strike that perfect balance between massive growth and unwavering values. Dive deep into strategies, inspirations, and stories that ensure you set your foundation in faith and don't compromise your family on your ascent to the top.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Entrepreneur Part 2 with the one and only Ritchie, Hale. Hopefully you listened to Part 1. Part 1, there was some good meat in there.
Yep.
But this is what you're most fired up about.
It is most definitely what I'm most fired up about at the moment.
You know what? I'm so nervous to even go there. I don't even know if they're ready, warmed up enough to even handle Part 2. So go watch Part 1. Part 2, the world of AI.
Yes.
And you made a bold statement at the beginning of Part 1. If, as an entrepreneur, you have not embraced AI, there is a high probability you will be out of business if you don't figure it out.
Yeah, and it's understanding what that statement means. Because if you talk to everybody today, you know, do you know AI? Yeah, I know AI. I'm using ChatGPT, I'm using Gemini, and, you know, and that's not AI. That's you talking to what we call a large language model. So it's you talking to the brain backwards and forwards. What's happening in AI, and I was listening to some podcasts of some of the real leaders in the world of AI, Anthropic guys, the Google, you know, OpenAI, and they were talking about the difference between what people think AI is and what's actually happening is a chasm that's growing very, very, very fast. And so when I heard that statement, and I was listening to this podcast, I think in January, one of the conferences, they had a panel, and they came out with a statement that said the gap is growing very, very fast between what people think it is and what it actually is. And so the question I asked myself, well, what's the gap? You know, what do they mean by that statement? Yeah. And then I started to dive deep into AI over the past few months. I got involved in AI 6 years ago. When in the very, very early days, when it was a lot of predictive modeling that was going on, and
what's your background, real quick?
I come out of technology space, so I did an IT degree way back in the 80s.
So you're a nerd.
So I'm a nerd from way back.
I love it.
And I spent, you know, a large part of my career leading large corporations in the technology leadership space. So some of the biggest banks in the world, biggest telcos. I led part of IBM for a while in their software space. I led Vodafone, biggest telco in the world. I was involved in UBS, the largest private bank in the world. And so I've done a lot of big technology plays.
What's SaaS mean?
Software as a service. You know, it just, a lot of the cloud technology, it's in the cloud, you know, is a lot of, you don't have to buy the tin anymore to put in your office. You just use services in the cloud. And that used to be, you'd go to Amazon Web Services and buy a machine in the cloud. Yeah. Now you buy software. And so you don't even know where the software's running. You don't care what it does and where it is. In the AI space, they've taken that to the next stage. So when you are chatting with ChatGPT, you don't know where the large language model actually lives that you're talking to. So you've got the interface, you ask a question, it gives you a response, and the response is, you know, generate my SOPs for my business, you know, write a legal document, you know, do a marketing plan. They're all pretty basic, really basic things to do nowadays.
Well, you say that, but let me tell you something. I was just writing up a contract, paid my attorney to write it, and just for fun, I ran it through ChatGPT. It came back with some areas of vulnerability. I printed that sucker, sent in my attorney and said, "Is this true?" And he goes, where'd you find out? Yeah, I totally missed this. I didn't think of that. Yeah, we need to add that. And I said, bro, you're going to be out of a job. I ran this through ChatGPT. And you know what he said to me? He's like, I should have done that.
And this is the challenge. This is the beginning of the challenge. So just from a terminology perspective, let's just get some terms squared away.
Yeah, teach me something.
So a large language model is the brain, effectively. So ChatGPT is a large language model. Gemini is a large language model. Claude is a large language model. Grok is a large language model. So they're the brains. Each large language model is slightly different in terms of what it does well and what it doesn't do well. You can train large language models to be very specific. So a GDP law has just come out, which is every legal case in history has been loaded in.
No.
And so it's got all the precedents of everything. And so you can ask it legal questions now. And when it passed the bar first time, and they challenged, I think it was 12 of the top partners in the US to compete against it with a brief. And each one said that the brief that it produced was actually better than what they produced. And so what's happening in the legal space is that the decision-making and analysis is now being done by AI.
You don't even need paralegals.
So at the moment, I think 7 associates in each law firm being replaced with a $200 a month AI capability. That stat was late last year, so it's probably even changed now.
Wow.
And so the question you've got to ask yourself is, okay, in the white collar space, if you go and become an engineer, you want to design a bridge, well, the AI can do it much better than you can ever do it, so each of the professions now is starting to be attacked by AI. Law is a good one to look at because it's basically looking at precedent and case history to be able to figure out how to position something. And the large language models with all the insight can produce much better contracts. Now, will lawyers who are in crime cases who actually stand in front of judges, there was a case the other day and someone represented themselves. And the judge got annoyed at them because they won the case, hands down. And the judge then found out that they were using ChatGPT. And the judge wasn't offended that he'd won the case. She was offended that he didn't tell her that he was using ChatGPT to do everything. But he won his case. And so it's a really serious question that's being asked now is, what does that mean for the legal profession as a whole?
Wow.
But you go into every profession now, and that's the same thing. So an example is content writing. So the classic one people put in is they say, write me a blog post on XYZ.
Yeah.
The problem we've got now is there's a fingerprint that comes into AI text that the search engines can read and various other things. Now you can take that out, but what's happening is you're getting this stylized content that's so good that it doesn't look real anymore. Yeah. And so I'm working on a workflow at the moment, which I'll come to, and it's going out and giving them a topic. So I was looking at replacing staff with AI as the topic. So it goes out to YouTube. It finds the top 10 YouTube videos with that information. It scrapes those videos and gets the transcripts from them. It then goes out to X and does the same thing, and goes out to LinkedIn, does the same thing, aggregates that information together. Then I've asked it to create new angles of insight drawn from that information and then generate me 10 articles and then assess those 10 articles and give me one that's the strongest one. And then publish that to the social platforms. Automatically. Now, the human involvement or the human in the loop is it will text me. I will text it the title.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, it will text me back the article and say, can you review the article and approve it, please, or decline it? And so I'll read the article and then I'll just hit approve on the text interface and it will go and publish it. Now, that whole process takes an hour or so to run, costs $2 in CPU time or grunt on the large language models. So now you've got a scenario where with a text message, I can go and generate a piece of content and post it to all the social media platforms. I'm generating images. I'm about to start generating videos off that at the same time. So now you've got the content creators now being replaced with something that costs $2 an article and runs 24/7 and deploys and does everything. And that's all SEO'd and, all that sort of stuff already. So in every scenario, you've got this role or activity in a business which costs money. And you can replace that activity with a bot that does something. So we call it agentic AI. So as opposed to you talking to the AI model, something else is talking to. And I'll give you an example, simple one. So in that content scenario, I text an agent like you're texting ChatGPT. The ChatGPT gets the text message, and then it asks another agent to go and scan YouTube and find the videos. That agent gives the list of videos and then passes it on and say, right, go and transcribe these videos for me. Okay? At the same time, it's gone to X and done the same thing, and gone to Instagram if you want to do that. And so what's happening is you've got these agents talking to one another, passing information. So each agent is specialized to do a thing, but it's talking to a large language model and doing its thing, and then coming back with the answer and passing it on. So the language models become specialized, and then you plug them together in a daisy chain. So you remember Zapier, So imagine Zapier on monster steroids with AI embedded in it doing all the agent stuff for you. So that's pretty cool, okay? And you go, okay, I need to build these workflows out, and now I've got to know all this engineering and all that sort of stuff. So I was sitting looking at this, and Claude is a new model from Anthropic that's just come out. And they specialize in code development is one of the things they've plugged in. So I thought, okay, I've got to build this big workflow of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, really hard. So if I wonder if I can get the AI to give me the instruction to do this. So I went to Claude and then said, okay, can you build this flow? And it did an okay job. It came out with the format that this thing could consume. And I went, oh, that's a pretty good flow. And then I thought, well, hang on a sec. Why don't I ask the AI to generate the prompt that I need to give the AI to generate the workflow? So I'm asking the AI, I'm not telling the prompt what to do. I'm not telling ChatGPT what to do.
What's a great prompt?
I'm saying, give me a great prompt to get this job done. So it came back with a 200-line prompt, which I cut out into a Word doc and then loaded the Word doc into Claude and said, go build this. And an hour later, it gives me this document, which is the configuration of this. And then I loaded that in. And at that point, my head exploded. Because what's happening here is we're moving from this idea that I talk to the large language model. So I ask the large language model. What I do is I go, let me generate a prompt. So I ask ChatGPT, generate a prompt to achieve this outcome. Yeah. And then it gives me the prompt. And then I use that prompt in the large language model that's specialist for what I'm trying to do. And then it goes and does its job.
So it's about asking better questions.
It's about asking better questions and figuring out the question that I was asked. And the statement I heard was, it's not about what you've got to do or learning how to do it. It's finding the tool to do it for you. And so it's flipping the question over and going, how do I get the tool to do this for me?
Why does my brain hurt right now?
And this is the challenge, is everybody's going, I know AI, and it's like, I know this stuff, and I'm going, I can do this stuff.
So this is stuff I can just pull up my phone, hit ChatGPT, and boom, I have
ask
answers.
It a question. The question you ask is not what you want to do, like, how do I analyze my customer data around this? Is you say to ChatGPT, give me a prompt that asks the AI to analyze this question correctly. Now, that consequence of asking AI to generate the prompt for AI is where we start to get into an interesting space.
Yes.
So
I could see this happening.
I've been writing...
Who's going to shut this down?
Well, this is one of the problems, and this is what Eric Schmidt was talking about from Google. He was saying that the issue now is that AI is generating AI. And so, and I did this the other day. I wanted to be able to read an invoice that's actually a collection of invoices in a PDF from one company. There were 5 invoices, 6 pages long, really complex. And I wonder if I could write a piece of software that actually reads that and loads it into the system, so we don't have one of our teams sitting there for 2 days typing all this stuff in.
Yeah.
And so I asked the AI prompt. I said, give me a prompt to generate this piece of software. And then I took that prompt and loaded it into one of the tools I use to generate an application. And in 15 minutes later, it gave me an application. And I used it and it worked. And so I'm now able to literally just load the PDF in at the computer, get it on email, load it in. It reads it, pulls out all the relevant data, and then loads that into the system. And so
That's faster than hiring a code person to write you a widget.
Developing is dead. Mark Zuckerberg has said they're going to have no mid-level and junior-level developers within a year.
What?
That's 50,000 people. Okay? The issue now is they've got the senior engineers. But hang on, if I am using the senior engineers to generate the prompts, now I step away and I ask the AI to generate the prompt.
Yeah.
Now I ask the AI to figure out what I need to fix in my business and go generate the prompts for me. I'm now out of the loop altogether. And that's what Eric Schmidt said. He said the moment we move out of the loop, we move into the point where AGI, I think we're already there. There's already artificial general intelligence. Now they're talking about super intelligence. And he said the problem with the acceleration is it's so steep now of the capability. So what's happening is that the capability is accelerating so fast, and AI is now developing AI.
Okay, but here's the problem. You are so deep in this.
Yes.
You're like a super nerd.
Yes.
You're ahead of the curve, whereas these entrepreneurs out here, help break this down. Where do they start? Do I hire a consultant just to go through my business?
There's a couple of things you can do. You can find someone to come in, find the problematic use cases and solve them. Don't come from a technology point of view. Come from a business solution point of view. If I'm a young entrepreneur, and this is what they're talking about now, the first $1 billion company with one person in it. Okay.
Whoa.
So there was a guy that he started he wanted to do AI-based ad generation and ad management on Meta. Yeah. He got to $5 million a month in recurring revenue in 60 days with people coming on the software platform to do this. So what's happening is the business model is shifting for young entrepreneurs. They can do so much more, so much faster than they've ever been able to do before. I'm building an app for one of our companies, and literally I've done 37,000 lines of code now in under 30 hours. But even I was shocked because I'm writing the prompts for the modules. And then I went, why am I doing that? And I went to the prompt and I said, I want this tool in this particular industry, in this sub-industry, and these tools out here are ones I really like. Go look at them and then go build me an app. So what it did, it came back with a 1,000-line prompt, which I loaded into the system, and it built me the app. And I went, what just happened? The whole model has just been tipped on its head. I'm not coding a single line of code. I'm generating 30,000 lines of code based on an idea. And so what's happening in the business world is if I go into marketing, for instance, I can do marketing with AI. I can generate ads, video ads, all that. I can get it to tune the ads and tune my landing page and then follow up with the clients using voice and text and messaging, book appointments, have them come in, follow up after the appointment. Everything starts to become a high-level customer service problem that you can now deliver with technology for pennies in the dollar.
Thank God no one can set an atlas but a chiropractor.
Well,
otherwise, AI can't do that yet.
Optimus, which is the latest robots coming out. So they have the Optimus robots.
You're telling me I'm going to be replaced in chiropractic by a robot? I will whoop that thing's.
Well, so BMW replaced 1,000 workers with robots in their manufacturing line. Yeah. So they had to basically take these sheet steel pieces and put them in a press so the cars could be pressed. And so now basically this truck comes up with all the pieces of metal, and all these robots come out their charging station, go and get all these things, pack it in, load it in, empties the truck, they go back into the charging station, truck moves away. And Optimus, which is the X1 or the Tesla one, they've got 11 degrees of motion on their hands now. They're moving to a 22 degrees of motion on the hand. And this thing's coming in at 20 grand a unit. That's the retail price. No healthcare, doesn't stop working, no issues with customers. So what your expectation of what's possible and what's actually possible are changing and moving apart so fast. Now, there's always going to be people in some jobs. That's a fact. But the only resistance to the job is, will someone accept this happening to them? Yeah. I get in my car now, got a Tesla. I am on full self-drive 80 to 90% of the time now. I don't even bother driving.
Maybe you weren't a good driver, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's a much better driver than I am. That's for sure.
Well, it's not better than me.
10 million
I'm a
miles
great
per
driver.
accident between accidents. 10 million miles between accidents now. The average is 400,000 for humans. Then they're at 10 million miles between
See, I
accidents.
can't argue with a nerd. You're too smart for me. That's what you IT guys drive me crazy. All right, so just give me hope as an entrepreneur. What am I going to do to scale my business using AI?
You just got to understand the basics. ChatGPT is not AI.
Yeah.
Okay, agentic AI. If you went onto YouTube and typed in agentic AI, you'll get hundreds of different solutions to problems. Yeah. Find the business use case you want to solve. Go and find a tool to solve it, or find someone who knows how to solve it for you, and get them engaged. Yeah. Because you can solve these problems really fast. Simple one: people phoning your office. Yeah. Nobody needs to answer the phone anymore. That should all be done, and you can't tell. You can't tell. Now, what was
I'm hiring you right now. It's my biggest pet peeve right now.
That's right. It's not answering the phone and booking appointments and follow-ups and all that. Simple idea. Now, the thing that was interesting, I got a call the other day from a service I'm involved in and said, "Hi, this is Matt's AI assistant phoning you." And my emotional response, I always listen to my emotional response on these, and I went, "Wow, that's really cool." And I engaged. So I don't feel as though I was put out or it was false. It was very real. And I went, okay, and I had the conversation.
But if they don't say AI voice and you know it's AI,
then you've got a problem.
Then you got problems.
So I think from a customer service perspective, is just be upfront with it and say, "This is your AI assistant. I'm phoning on Matt's behalf, to follow up on your appointment. I'd like to book you in for another appointment. He's got a slot here, here, and here. Would you like to book one of those slots?" And it will talk to your calendaring system and do all that for you. Okay, so I did one for one of the service things. We have a plumbing service business, and I have Laura, who's our AI assistant, who answers the phone. Right. And she can escalate to a human if she wants. You can say, "I want to speak to it." If you want to speak to a human, just say you want to speak to a human. I'll push you through. But this is the problems I can solve. I can book the technician to go out and fix your problem straight away. This is what we've got. This is where you're at. This is the problem. Tell me a bit more. Okay, so this is the problem you're trying to solve. I'll get a technician in there in 2 hours. His name will be Tim. Is that good for you? It's easy. And then you take that and you do the same thing on email. You say the same thing on Messenger. Same thing on all the channels that you've got open. And now your customer service capability is enhanced. Now you take the scans and you analyze those and produce a report, which you then review and send on.
That would be amazing.
So I'm doing that at the moment on a billing side. I'm pulling all the information in, and we're measuring the billing cycle and the actual guys taking pictures and going, where are we at?
It's very stressful, I think.
For entrepreneurs, if they're not getting into it, you need to get into a conversation with someone who's in it, or you need to start learning.
Have you started a consulting business with this yet?
I have. I'm out there talking to people at the moment, and I'm learning what people do. It's the same response every time. I know AI, I'm using ChatGPT. And then I actually start talking about what's really going on, and they sit there with their jaw on the ground going, "Oh, crap." Yeah. And that's the issue, is that it's the oh, crap moment.
But you come from this model where you were into IT and service software well before anybody else was. So you get it. So
No, I've had to rewire my whole brain because I'm not coding. I am literally asking ChatGPT to give me a prompt to go and do what I need to do. And I'm finding the tools that do the job.
Yeah, but you know how to ask the right question because you came from coding.
There's a bit of that. But a lot of the people that are doing well in this are coming at it and going, "I don't have any preset. I've got a preset idea about how this works."
But this is why your niche is better. Here, listen to this. You were an IT nerd coder, but an entrepreneur and very intuitive, then in some of the biggest masterminds in the world. So you know how to take this across it all. That's why you're successful.
That's the skill.
That's
the skill.
That's why you're
bridging
magic.
the gap.
You know how to do that. Coders just sometimes nerd out. They don't even know how to talk.
They don't know the business problem they're trying to solve.
Yes.
And they can't get on that side of the equation and go, "How do I take that to solve that problem?"
So you're an entrepreneur that has a nerd underlying problem.
And it allows me to address that gap.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to come up with a business quick. All right. Well, I mean, leave us with next steps, and then I think we're going to have to do a part 3 after we come up with how I'm going to help all my friends go, "What the heck just happened to me?" Because I got all my friends watching going, what was that about?
And maybe we need to put together a session.
I feel like I'm already in, This needs to be a full mastermind.
And I agree with you. I think there needs to be an AI mastermind because this thing is moving so fast and has such dramatic consequences to people's businesses that unless they get in, someone's going to come in the door and take their business away from them, and they're not even going to see it coming because they're moving so fast.
Okay. All right. Well, that's part 2. I told you it was going to be drinking out of a fire hose. Stay tuned. We are going to figure out solutions to all these problems. So this will be, I know you guys love sending me your texts and emails. If you got questions, want to know what's next, hit me up, Dr. Matt at the Maverick Entrepreneur, and we'll figure it out. It might be by that time an AI response, but just know this, it's actually going to be more timely than probably my response. So that's very encouraging. I know my turnaround time, this could be such a win-win for me. It's going to level up my life. So God bless you and all your skill sets. Thank you for being on here. Part 1, part 2, check them out. We'll see you on the next episode of the Maverick Entrepreneur.
I am a fighter, got a dream of a legacy. I am the tiger.